Alright, nice to meet you by your name. Sorry. Call Me By Your Name is an adaptation of the novel by Andre Aciman by Italian filmmaker Luca Guadagnino. Is the third film in his thematically connected Desire trilogy following I Am, Love, and a Bigger Splash, starring Armie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet. I said all of that without making a mistake or having to cut, so I get to have a cookie now. Alright, so Call Me By Your Name is a very good movie, elevated by a tremendously strong ending that feels quietly revolutionary in its own way, and yet my most encouraging takeaway from its success is that it won't be long before it's hard to believe that it ever seemed unique or like a big deal at all. A gay romance set in the mid-1980s Italian countryside, it's most noteworthy for the relative explicitness with which it photographs the romantic and sexual encounters between its main characters and the way those scenes are paired with the gorgeous locales and postcard-ready vacation vistas. In that respect, it's very similar to the erotic light melodramas of the 60s and 70s that helped make the so-called European art house cinema an institution in the United States in the first place, what with frankly presented sexuality being a fresh on-screen conceit at the time. So while this makes this particular film groundbreaking is the fact that gay male audiences typically don't get to see explicit romantic films aimed at them, cast with major stars and released theatrically, with lavish production values and gorgeous cinematography, one can only hope that we aren't far off from the day when Call Me By Your Name is seen more as an early example of a common occurrence rather than a profound cinematic rarity like it is today. In any case, Chalamet as our main character is a Jewish-American teenager living with his archaeologist parents in Italy circa 1987 and enjoying a casual if uneventful summer until he develops an unexpected but powerful crush on his father's handsome temporary research assistant played by Armie Hammer. They flirt some more, they hook up, they get serious, they get really serious, they take a romantic trip, then reflective finale that concludes on an unexpectedly powerful note that's likely best left unspoiled to achieve the best effect. That's pretty much it. That's kind of all that happens plot-wise. It's really not a film of twists or reveals or monumentally deep information or even plot in any conventional sense. It's an observational character piece that's meant to be experienced in terms of visual beauty, erotic charge, and thoughtful contemplation on the intensity and brevity of youth and love. And if that sounds like something you've seen and heard many times before, but restaged with two men, well, yeah, that would be the entire point. What makes the difference beyond aesthetics is the acting, which is uniformly excellent and takes the proceedings from mere sexy distraction to transcendent dramatic art piece whenever the scene calls for it, particularly when the thematic weight of things comes rushing back into place for the finale. Chalamet is an actor who's been popping up here and there all over the place, but has been kind of a chameleon up to this point, but he has a star-making turn in the lead role here, evincing a believable vulnerability, but also a specific mix of naivete and overconfidence recognizable in teenage boys of all stripes. Hammer, meanwhile, is almost perfectly cast. What's always made him kind of a difficult actor for Hollywood to get a handle on, at least to this point, is that he's one of those guys who's almost so impossibly classically handsome looking that it's kind of hard to take him seriously as anything other than a caricature of what he just sort of actually looks like, if that makes any sense. But here he's effectively asked to embody a kind of walking Prince Charming fantasy figure, and it very much works and allows for the fact that he's also a really good actor to come to the forefront. But the show inevitably gets stolen by 2017 acting MVP Michael Stuhlbarg, who's almost always the best thing in whatever movie he's in. Hell, he was even great in Men in Black 3. Yeah, he was in that. And I know you forgot because the movie was terrible, but yeah, he was the fifth dimensional alien guy. Yeah, now you remember. He was good, too. Anyway, he plays Chalamet's father in this, and he hangs out mostly in the background being low-key, only to swoop in for the finale like, hey kid, I know you're basically making your whole name here, but I thought I might drop in with this little monologue and just steal the whole movie out from under you. Is that okay? Credit to the kid, though. What he does with that final close-up is still an all-timer, so you spend the movie going, hey, this is pretty good, and then the ending leaves you with, wow, that was devastating, and then you come back down to, okay, that was pretty good again, but it's still remarkably high-quality work of its kind. 3 stars, very much worth the hype, and if someday we find ourselves wondering what the big deal was, well, that'll just mean we got to a better place, and that'll be alright too.